nearly 5,000 years of history, Lebanon is one of the world's oldest country. The human settlement at Baalbek goes back perhaps 9,000 years, which would make it roughly the same age as Jericho, one of the world's oldest settlements. Bible archaeologists from the 19th century wanted to link Baalbek with Baalgad, as mentioned in the book of Joshua, circa the 13th century B.C.E., though this connection has always been considered a weak one. Also, some Persian artifacts have been found at the site, these dating from about 500 BCE. Why did the Roman emperors build this magnificent complex of important religious significance to them right there in Lebanon in particular? Why since Augustus, 15 BC, till Hadrian, 135 AD, none of these emperors built a complex as tremendously big anywhere else? Why in Lebanon and not in Rome, their great city in their own homeland? Or why not in Carthage, for example? After all, the Romans sacked it and completely destroyed it after the infamous Punic Wars, which gave them a full hegemony on the known world of their era. Furthermore, when one considers what was needed back then to construct that majesty of a temple complex, another question has puzzled the researchers. Why the tremendous efforts and hardships in carrying all these granite columns all the way from Aswan in Egypt to nowhere else in their vast empire, but an overheated terrain in the center of Lebanon? That's unseen and unheard about their other temples all through the Roman Empire, especially that the Romans knew that they had to account in their project to the arduous crossing of our rocky hills and mountains, with these titanic granite columns. A big secret lies beneath and behind the construction of that complex, a truth the Romans were adamant to hide and for so long. We know by now that all researchers have confirmed the existence of an even greater complex at that location that was built long before the Romans showed up. It was their known feeling of superiority that made them invest such a tremendous effort to build at this spot specifically, the biggest Roman temples on earth. Even to a non-professional eye, the big difference is obvious between the great megalithic structures of the base and the different patterns of the Roman temples on top of it. But it was those humongous stones of uncertain origin that have placed this ancient site amongst the seven wonders of the world several years ago. Uncertain origin, and definitely proven not to be Roman. So, who built them, if not the Romans? Indeed, there is no proof that the Romans designed it, or built it, or commissioned it, or even paid for it. What is really proven is that these underneath stones and structures that pre-existed the arrival of the Romans pertain to the Phoenicians, who were, as we know, the builders of Carthage, and the ancestors of the Romans' big enemies, the Carthaginians. Unlike their historically known stance when it came to civilizations they used to conquer, the Romans did not remove the pre-existent stones of the Phoenician structures but built their new complex over them. That is an inarguable fact confirmed by the still existing stones visible for all to see. They are still there because the Romans couldn't remove them nor destroy them as they used to when erasing the civilizations they used to conquer. In their conquests of civilizations, Romans were famous for erasing all traces of the previously advanced and peaceful civilizations and imposing their own. That was their historically known stance whenever and wherever they conquered on earth. So, why did the Romans disregard their fierce eagerness of total annihilation of that Phoenician megalithic structure like they had done all over the extension of their great empire? Or wasn't it really a disregard but an impossibility due to them not being the original builders? Since the above-cited questions counter the credit given to the Romans, and since these structures predate the time of Jesus Christ, everything is now turning to one probability, or should we say feasibility. The eyes, minds, and studies of facts are looking at the Phoenicians for due credit, and for several main valid reasons that contradict the belief that Baalbek is originally Roman. The Phoenicians, who were known back then as the best skilled builders of the world and the masters of stone building. The Baalbek temple and its stones are a great mystery because no one knows for certain how the stones were moved and placed. Archaeologists debate and many claim that the Romans quarried the Baalbek stones and moved and placed them with traditional Roman methods, but it isn't known for certain. Baalbek temples have been one of the great mysteries archaeologists and historians have been trying to decipher. This temple was dedicated to the Roman Zeus, and the construction was started by Julius Caesar and continued later by Augustus. It was the biggest pagan temple dedicated to Jupiter in all the Roman Empire. The columns were 30 meters high with a diameter of nearly 2.5 meters, the biggest in the classical world. Major construction in Baalbek first began under the Phoenicians, and it was the Phoenicians who erected an enormous temple to the Phoenician sky god, Baal. Baal was one of the most important gods in the Phoenician pantheon, making Baalbek a popular site for pilgrimages from across the region. Inhabited as early as 9000 BCE, Baalbek grew into an important pilgrimage site in the ancient world for the worship of the sky god Baal and his consort Astarte, the Queen of Heaven in Phoenician religion. The name Baalbek means Lord Baal of the Bekaa Valley. There are multiple stories behind the name. One says the monolith is named after a pregnant woman who tricked the people of Baalbek into believing that she knew how to move the giant stone, if only they would feed her until she gave birth. The newly found stone underneath the pregnant woman's stone in Baalbek, known as Ul-Hubla stone, was confirmed to predate the Romans, hence pertaining to the Phoenician builders. It was hidden under erosions and soil sedimentations for more than 5,000 years, to say the least. How were the stones transported from the nearby quarry remain a mystery to archaeologists and resurrectors till this date. The Baalbek stones are a great mystery because no one knows for certain how the stones were moved and placed. Archaeologists debate, and many claim that the Romans quarried the Baalbek stones and moved and placed them with traditional Roman methods, but it isn't known for certain. In the base of the ruins of the Jupiter Baal temple lie 3 hewn stones known together as the trilithon. Each is estimated to weigh over 750 tons. The edgy area on top of the base of the trilithon, the 3 huge blocks of about 1,000 tons underneath the Roman stones of Jupiter temple, shows an interlock of much smaller rocks compensating a gap of about 50 to 100 centimeters. The largest stone ever found in the world is the Stone of the South, or Hajar ul-Hobla in Baalbek. So how in the world did someone cut 1,500 tons limestone stone with extreme precision, transport them and stack them 7 meters high? Over the millennia the temple was ruined by earthquakes, destroyed and pillaged for stone under Theodosius, and 8 columns were taken to Constantinople, Istanbul, under Justinian for incorporation into the Hagia Sophia. If you like my videos, please subscribe and like my channel. Thank you for watching.